The bells rang, not for celebration, but for mourning. Stormwind burned, Orgrimmar bled, and the scourge marched once more in flesh and rot. Parents kissed their children farewell, and boarded ships bound for a place forgotten by time. What waited beyond the frozen sea would decide the fate of Azeroth. This is the Borean Tundra. Mothers held their children tighter, fathers kissed them once more, and left, not knowing if they would ever return. Even the Horde, fractured, proud, unyielding, knew what stirred in the north. In the shadows of Warsong Hold, war drums fell silent, and the old warriors whispered one name, Arthas. So they gathered, from the snows of Dunmorrow to the plains of Mulgore and the fiery sun of Durotar. Ships were readied, blades were sharpened, letters were sealed and burned. And then they came, across the broken waters of the frozen sea, to a place forgotten by most and forsaken by time. The western gate of Northrend, the Borean Tundra. They made landfall in reverent silence. Boots sank into frozen sand. The air hung heavy with salt and something else. A stillness, as if the land itself was holding its breath. The Alliance and Horde landed not far apart, enemies in name, but allies in fate. They did not come to conquer Northrend. They came to stop something. No sooner had the first ships anchored beneath Valiance Keep's frost-rimmed palisades and Warsong Hold's cavernous pit than the ice itself shattered in protest. Anubar Nerubians, chitin black as midnight and slick with corpse frost, erupted from hidden burrows, spears of jagged leg chitin skewering footmen before the call to arms finished echoing. Firelight glints off a lone orc champion as he steps from the forged dark hall, twin axes poised to carve a path through whatever claws its way up from the ice. In the frigid hush beyond, Alliance commanders huddle over a frost-rimmed map, lanterns swaying while they plot choke points and countercharges against the tunnels blooming beneath their feet. Their plans unfurl onto the ramparts, where lion-crested soldiers lock shields in a blinding squall, snow hissing against steel as they wait for the first spiked limb to crest the wall. Farther down the bleak shoreline, a mounted knight patrols makeshift Red Cross crates and sandbag bulwarks, ready to ferry the wounded or carry new orders the instant the skittering black tide breaks the horizon. Between axe edge and watchfire, barricade and battle steed, Horde and Alliance stand shoulder to shoulder, defiant partners in a war that surfaced the moment Northrend answered their landing with swarming chitin-clad silence. Not all who walk this frozen land are warriors. The Tuskar, fishers, storytellers, gentle in heart, saw it first. A new storm rising, darker than any before. The spirits of their ancestors fell silent. The beasts turned pale. And the sea, once a cradle of life, grew cold with undeath. Further inland, the Tonka, kin of the Tauren, faced the wind head-on. Their way is not one of bending, it is of breaking. They survive by enduring what others cannot. But even they whispered now, of things that do not die, of shadows that dig up the past and bury the future. Out on the shifting plains, the Horde uncovered a new horror. The ground itself wept black rot. The scourge had dug deep through stone into the bones of the land. and what they pulled up should have remained buried. This was not just a war for land. This was a war for what slept beneath it. The Nerubians, long thought dead, still cling to the dark beneath. And the Lich King, ever hungry, has turned even their tombs into weapons. To the west lies a wound in the sky, a place where magic breathes and freezes. Koldara, shrouded in storm, hidden by spell, watched always by dragons. Here, the spellweaver, Malygos, has awoken. Mad with grief, he wages a war not of vengeance, but of purity. He would end all mortal magic, no matter the cost. The blue flight siphons the lifeblood of Azeroth itself, and in their hunger, they may awaken something even worse. South of Koldara, near the Alliance encampment, Riplash Strand rises in broken stone ribs where the sea gnaws at half-sunken temples. Naga banners snap over flooded courtyards, and waterlogged crypts breathe salt and old magic. At night, fog crawls in from the bay, carrying the groans of Kvaldir, long drowned yet never gone. Northeast, the land boils instead of bleeds. The geyser fields, a plain of living chimneys that fire scalding columns into slate-black sky. Beyond the haze, bronze pipes cut scars through permafrost to Fizzcrank airstrip, where gnome ingenuity wrestles resources out of the ice. Oil-slick pools mirror the aurora, beautiful, until you notice the dead fish floating belly up and the clockwork sentries rusting ankle-deep in sludge. Progress here is paid for in poisoned snow. A league away, rhinos clash across the plains. Foxes vanish beneath the frost. The air carries the cry of prey and predator alike, a balance ancient as the ice. Among the trees, wanted posters crackle in the wind. Hemet Nessingwari, poacher, slayer, glory hunter. To the druids for the ethical and humane treatment of animals, or otherwise known as DEHTA, his name is a crime. Each hoofprint, a wound, each pelt, a grave marker. And though he's rarely seen, they say the tundra still bleeds where he walks. Silence shatters at the temple of Enkila, a charnel fortress carved from obsidian and grief. Black spires drip with frozen ichor, and the wind screeches through bone lattice windows, echoing the litany of an endless, necromantic mass. Here the scourge tunnels meet the open air, disgorging horrors that swear fealty to no sky, no sea, only the will of the king who waits on his frozen throne. In Borean Tundra, every mile is a different truth, and each truth ends the same way, with breath turned to frost and eyes fixed on a horizon that never stops changing. But Northrend does not forget. Each step inland treads deeper into memory, into madness. Here, the land keeps secrets with frozen lips, and the dead walk to spread the silence. Far to the north, he dreams beneath a crown of ice, not sleeping, not dead, just waiting, and the land remembers what it owes him.